Hey folks, welcome. Today we are doing the double introduction. I'm really finding it harder up here in Canada to find halogen lights for heating their enclosures, nor do I find it ideal to be running 4 enclosures in total right now, and I'm just lacking in space. So I've introduced March, who's got a clean bill of health as per her stool sample. She's done an initial quarantine phase for me to analyze her. She came from a home that I knew she had relatively good health, but a poor diet slash could be better off care, etc. But she has a relatively smooth shell, so we've taken her. She's roughly 3 to 5 years old, unknown. I'm now her at least 3rd to 4th owner in that time. I hope she's a lifelonger here. She's a very sweet girl, the first one to join me in the mornings. I come down here and work out in the mornings. The lights aren't on, but the living room light is on, of course. Not that bright, but she's moving in and around by that time. Love her dearly. Picked her up in Edmonton from a very lovely lady. But here we have her. The male is giving her a sniff and a bite. Ooh, pardon my phone shake. I hope that this doesn't turn into a battering match. But I know he's going to do his initial meet and greet as he did with Dash, this beautiful Sheila, closest to us here. I hope the biting stays minimal. I'm glad I've given him a beak trim, but I would like to give that of course, one more file down as I work it back. Scooter's beak was incredibly overgrown when I got him. I'm hoping that having 2 females in here is the completion of a trio. I don't think that this video really depicts the size difference between Dash, Scooter in the middle, and March on the right there, with Scooter being almost 700 grams, Dash being 900 grams, and our pal March only being in the mid 400 range. She looks more pyramided in this video than in real life. She has, I think, the smoothest shell of the 3 of these characters. I haven't raised any of these from hatchlings, so I cannot take credit for their bumpy raised scutes and slight pyramiding, but there's other videos covering that topic as well. I'm hoping this introduction goes smooth. I'd love this to be the complete trio of up and in this space for the spring and the fall, and then I'd love to hibernate them all, or brumate, I should say, pardon me. I'd like to brumate them all in the box method inside my garage, totally temperature controlled. But we're going to play that by ear. March is a very tenacious character, so I'm hoping she holds her own against these 2. This is introduction round 2, and this is better. The first time she got mounted, and I don't think she suspected. But today, she seems to be very aware of her surroundings, and maybe love is in the air. Now we may swap over and see. We've had Diggers. Digger is the largest, we'll say, yearling or holdback, as I know a lot of people like to refer. And then I had we'll say it, I hope it's a female, in there. We had March in her quarantine setup, and she's been scaling the walls. This is unfair to her. She has a temperature gradient, but she has nowhere near enough stomping space, in my opinion. She's been terrorizing her clay pot as per the marks on it. That poor spider plant has been totally abused. The adults are waiting to go outside. The enclosure is being built as we speak. But everything's in a transition phase this year, with my life taking a change and everything just being so different. These tortoises are, of course, affected by those changes as well. But so far, I think this is a nice introduction here. So I'd like to give these guys a bumped up to 3x3 space instead of a 3x18 each. And then if March goes well, there's no reason that these characters can't have the bottom. The 3 amigos plus Digger. We'll have to come up with a group of 4 names. I just worry about Digger and that little one, Dodger there, though, I would hate to see Dodger suffer out of this deal, because he or she is already small enough. I'd like that one to really succeed. I always like to see that one being at the food dish first, and the last one to leave. I'd like to see some growth out of that little character. Such a sweetheart and tenacious. Love them all. But if this is how smoothly the transition's going to go, I definitely think we will be pulling walls and doing a total indoor rebuild. I hope you'll stay tuned for that video. We're blessed by the beautiful Shelbs here. She's always the builder behind the action, and March is leading the charge up here with these three. If that's the case, I'd be rather happy. Dash is being far less territorial this time round. Spring's been in the air with Dash lately. She's just been a different gal. But these three ideally will be going outside to the outdoor enclosure. Really, it could be any day now, because sometimes during the day it's been up to 18. Today we had almost 100k winds, but we still had 12 degrees for a portion. If we have these characters mixed with a heated dog house, kind of a tortoise house enclosure, there's no reason I can't get these three characters outside safely and securely. I cannot wait. I personally wish March and Scooter would. March, I think, is too small to be making eggs, but I would love for her to become productive one day in a nice, healthy, and safe manner. I just love this. These three things have been going good here. Just as I say that, I'm sure Scooter's going to bite at her front legs or claws, or along her seam line of her shell there between her carapace and her plastron. This is a far better introduction than last time. I'm not so certain why, but if this is the case, I will be doing an entire enclosure overhaul with these characters. Absolutely love this. I'd like to, moving forward, do a brick step-by-step environment that would remove these rocks. I'd love to just scatter these rocks inside the substrate for them to come across occasionally. Still save the slate and stagger that into a step formation. Have a nice steep gradient from almost nothing substrate where I have the water dish. I like that way. Moving steadily up incline where it kind of almost pins Dash underneath the spider plants. She seems to love to burrow there. I don't know if she's channeling her inner pancake tortoise. Scooter and March, this is an awesome interaction. I just adore this. But if I can get a nice steady gradient, that'll be the plan for the next enclosure. I'd like to get a little bit more choir soil from your local grow store, or even a little more sand-based topsoil if I could find some from across the parkway from my house. I happen to have a undeveloped subdivision. You guys need to have less biting here, I can tell you that. We need to relax. But if I can get more sand, a slight light sand, natural soft sand, base substrate from just like the field across from the house, I'd like to mix this in. Yeah, there's just a little bit too much clay content. And although we got some clambering over, Scooter's on top of Dash. That's totally fine with him being the smaller of her. I just don't want to see my sweetheart March here. I love her in particular because she's my first to greet me in the morning. I would hate to see her beaten up with these characters. But this is, we'll say, Introduction Volume 2. And this has been amazing. Thanks so much for tuning in and following with this. We'll sign off, I think, with one more check-in. And we've got, I think these two, yeah, we got the two big ones, Trevor and Digger. Oops, sorry, poor video angle there. Trevor and Digger there. Oops, I can be smooth with the camera. They're in the humid hide where I like to pour a little extra water, get that humidity up. And then we have Dodger and Walker. Just settle in underneath that lamp. That's wonderful. I think I'll be giving these characters all a bunch more space. Gonna give these small ones and Digger a nice new a spider plant to just destruct. See, Digger and March both had a stool sample and things came back great from a fecal test. They did an initial quarantine between that's now been a few months between the two of them. I think March has been that was just January, but I'm feeling really good about that tortoise. It came from a friend, so at least I kind of knew a little bit about it. I'm very nervous about introductions, and I like to be very careful. I would hate to see a transmission of a respiratory infection or any other just possible illnesses that could come along with a sick tortoise. If you'd like to cover the topics of a sick tortoise, you can check my other videos, as well as the signs of a healthy tortoise. But thanks so much for following today. Please like, comment, subscribe. Over and out.